Okay, it's time for part 3 of this level 2 project that I've been working on here. As you can tell, I'm a little bit further along. I've gotten some painting done as well as some track work. So I got the black done up to there, and then when we look here, I did somewhat of a little bit of a marble job here. So I went into the black here, and then it turns into brown because obviously then we go into the scenery section of it. So yeah, this is all going to be ballasted probably from right about here going onwards. So because I'm not really doing ballast on the helix, so because that's part of it, I'm going to stop and start it in this general area right here. And I'm going to do the same thing over on this side here. Now, obviously, I just put cork down and I continued that cork up and around there because I got another piece cut. And it goes right up to there, and that's attached, but that's just the dummy piece that I have where I can cut out all the pieces the exact same. And the cork, obviously, it goes right back to there, just about there is where it stops just for now. And I got cork all the way up, right up to here, just the 3 lanes really. I still have to do the 4th one and continue it on from right about there. And then that's going to be where a switch goes, and I've got a switch right under here as well, which is going to have a machine and whatnot to it. This track here is not attached yet. It's just I put it there just to kind of see, you know, roughly if I'm doing this right, if it's going to work. It's probably going to work, but I just wanted to make sure. So it's kind of hard to tell, but this is the piece of foam that I normally have right on top there. I recently got some more cork, so I used my wood glue and I put it down right onto it, and it's nice and dry. And now you can see I'm starting to add some of the tracks that I've already pre-soldered together, and I'm going to do about 3 rows at a time here. It's already marked out, so all I got to do is glue it down and make sure that it's straight. With that as well, I'm going to have to drop some feeders from it and figure out how I'm going to do that, but that shouldn't be too hard, since I've done it before. And yeah, then I'm going to have to basically scenic this area, or I'll glue this entire section back up here in this section here, and then it should be good to go, more or less, and I can just put some cars in there for storage. I'm working on this area as well here. As you can see, I can now run trains right up to this switch, and I'm going to have to solder these pieces on, but I'm eventually going to be ready to go across that bridge. I just need a bit more cork and I'll be able to finish off this back section here, and then I'll be able to add the ladder as well. Other than that, I'm still continuing on the track here, up and around, but because this is all freshly painted up in here, I'm basically just going to leave that for now, and then I'll come back and I'll do that at a later time. But we're still moving forward here, which is good. So I'm gonna keep at it and keep going here and see what else I can add, what else I can do. I'm slowly running out of supplies, but I should be okay. And I've got the switch for here, so once this all dries, I'm going to be able to put that in place, and then I'll be able to continue on track up that way, and then also continue on track this way as well. Okay, so as you can see, I've got a number of my tracks down here. I only glued them about halfway, so I just glue the first 3 feet down, and then that entire side there is still, you know, flexible, just in case. I know I'm gonna have to cut some of those down anyways, so it's not a huge deal. I also trimmed the edges here, well, except for that one because I just added this piece and I have one more to go. But yeah, I'm kind of trimming these to go with the edge here because it goes up against the backdrop, and I don't want, obviously, that hanging over. I've got a whole bunch of wires here cut, which are going to go right at the end, and I'll just kind of show you. So they're just going to kind of connect at the very end, and it's going to come down behind it, and it's going to go literally behind the backdrop and all the way down to the bottom, and then they're going to get all plugged into one of these panels, one of those, and then they'll get individual power for each track so that there's not all power going to every single one of these. That's a lot of wasted power right there. So I'll make it so that you can only turn on one track at a time, basically. So I'm going to do that and going to solder right to the end here. And then, I am going to finish off each one of these with a bumper just at the very end, so there's no derailing at the end here or any of that fun stuff. Just so it, has a point that it's going to stop at. And I've got enough bumpers to do all 7 tracks, so I'll be able to do all of them. Okay, so I've got all my wires attached here. You can see them all hanging down. I just soldered them right onto the very ends, and they're kind of, they'll be hidden. So before I do put this back up in this place here, I'm going to just spray about 2 feet worth this way of all the track. This way, obviously the track will be painted. Just this very corner here. It's going to be very difficult to get this stuff all painted while it's in the very back corner here going around that edge. So I'm going to do it where it's easier, which is right here. So I'm going to give that a spray, and then we're going to put it in the corner there and see how it fits. And here's just one last shot. Obviously I tucked all the cables up under, and then I gave just this section here a good spray. Obviously I didn't paint any of it brown. Like normally I paint brown paint on there, so I just used the spray paint. It's like a whatever thing at this point. It's all gonna get ballasted over anyways, so it's not a huge deal. And as for all down there, that'll all get sprayed once it's sorted out with the switches and whatnot, and the tracks or whatever. Then I'll fill in the little spaces. But next thing, once this is dry, it's going up there, back there. And yeah, then I'm sure I'll be able to park some cars on it eventually. I'm probably gonna clean the rails, the top of the rails as well for connectivity there, like just to make sure that the power goes through. So it is what it is. But yeah, next shot that we'll see is basically it in its place, and it's going to be ready to glue down. Okay, so as promised, here we go. Here is the giant piece of foam with the cork on it, with all the yard tracks down. They are all in place. All I got to do is glue it basically in there, glue all this down, cut this a bit, figure out my ladder, which is going to go right up to here, and then that's the top of the ladder right there. It's going to go in that way. And then basically it's not done. I still got to ballast it and paint it. I did say I was going to run the wires from the very back there, which the wires are back there. They do go tucked, they're tucked in, so obviously you can't see them, but they're not going all the way to the bottom. Instead, I'm going to have them basically just coming out the side here, and I'm going to attach a little piece here, which will have one of these on it. And then I'm going to run the wires all the way across over to here, right to the fascia, so that I can put the little toggle switches here as well for these, so that I can say, track 1, power, track 2, power, 3, 4, etc., etc. And then that way, not all the power is going to all of them at one time, only certain ones. But I can basically do that at any time. It doesn't really matter if there's power going to those right now or not. I just want to use them for storage. And then I can always come back after and, do the, add the power to them. Just like what I did with this yard here. Like all these tracks here are good to go. I just have to connect them to these little switches here, and then it'll give my entire yard here power. But only it's going to be up here. So a little different, but whatever. I just want to get all my switches in and make sure that's all good. And mostly just work on the main, because I'm getting there. But yeah, that's a wrap. That was episode number 3, or part 3 of my level 2. Keep watching, keep following along. Thank you to all my new subscribers, and big thank you to everyone who's been following me this far. Couldn't have done it without you guys. So until next time, part 4 is coming up. Still got lots more to go.